In Mark chapter 4, beginning at verse 21, Jesus teaches His disciples more about His words, and then He tells two parables about the growth of His kingdom. Jesus first tells His disciples that nobody lights a lamp to hide it, to put it under a basket or under a bed. They light it to put it on a stand. And so while Jesus' words were concealed for the time being, the time was coming when the apostles would broadcast those words boldly and openly. Therefore, they needed to pay careful attention to what Jesus was saying, because the degree to which they paid attention determined the amount of understanding that they would gain. We need to take Jesus' words to heart. The amount of attention we pay to Jesus' words directly correlates to the amount of understanding and knowledge that we'll gain about Him and His will. Sometimes people say, well, I don't know a lot about the Scriptures because I don't really like to read. But if you ask them about their hobby or about their job, you'll find out very quickly that they read some things in order to gain knowledge. And so it's really a matter of where is our heart? What are we giving our attention to? As the apostles spread Jesus' words, they might have become discouraged over the way that the kingdom grew. But Jesus tells two parables so they would understand how God was working in the world. As they sowed the seed, they might not see immediate results. But Jesus says it's like someone who sows seed. When you cast out the seed, you don't immediately see something spring up. In fact, it takes quite a bit of time. And we don't see the inner workings of the seed underneath the soil. Even so, we don't see how the gospel works in somebody's heart until one day, all of a sudden, it seems, it produces results. And so we ought not get discouraged if someone doesn't respond immediately, because the seed is still doing its work. Also, the apostles might have been discouraged at the small beginnings of the kingdom. But Jesus says what begins as a mustard seed was going to grow into a tree that would be big enough for all the birds of the heavens to flock to. In other words, the kingdom would have small, inauspicious beginnings. But one day it would draw people from all over to be a part of the rule and the reign of God over His people. And so as the apostles spread the word, they could have the confidence that the word was working in people's hearts and that God could take even their small efforts and the small beginnings of the kingdom and turn it into something magnificent.